What's up, Circle 117 here, and welcome back to the Stanley Parable and the fact that my hair won't stop doing the part of the Red Sea here. I guess I'm just gonna have to live with it. Getting a haircut tomorrow, so live with it. We're gonna go ahead and play some more of the Stanley Parable. Now, the reason I haven't been recording lately is because I saw a lot of performance issues in my computer, and I went ahead and went out. I replaced some 2 GB sticks of RAM with some 4 GB sticks of RAM. I have 12 now instead of 8. I really hope this works, because when I tried to record the Stanley Parable a while ago, it kind of does frame drops. Like, it's like, Stanley!
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he...
okay, we can skip that. Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers.
And it seems like it's working,
He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others.
I look like I'm total whiteface right now.
Total solitude was terrifying to him.
And I guess we're
when
gonna
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
We're gonna do disobedient a
This
little bit.
was
We're
not
gonna
the
switch
correct way
off.
to the employee lounge, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. So he turned left at the first open door and walked back in the right direction.
We're gonna go down
Stanley
on
was
the
so
elevator
bad
this
at
time.
following directions, it's incredible.
I have a
he
shirt
wasn't
on under
5
this.
years
It's just
ago.
really freaking
Maybe this
skin
is
colored.
why everyone had left.
Oh,
No
no.
one wanted to be around someone as bad at listening as him. And since he was walking into the middle of nowhere and thus ruining the entire story, Stanley decided that he would punish himself.
No.
So when he came to the elevator and the doors opened, he stepped inside and pushed the button to go up.
No! No. No.
Oh, Stanley. You know, you really aren't going anywhere, and I don't say that deceitfully. I truthfully mean that there isn't a story down here. The story was back up where I told you to go in the first place. Right now, you're just running around looking at empty halls. And frankly, that's perhaps even more infuriating for me. So why don't you throw me a bone, give me a chance, and just let me tell the story I want to tell?
Okay, so now we're gonna follow his directions. I've decided to do something where I'm gonna try to get a ton of different endings for this game. I know I have to do good and bad.
Now listen carefully. This is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Alright, we're gonna go disobedient. And then
Perhaps you
obedient.
misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Huh?
Good, good. Now, if you don't mind, there's something I'd like to show you. But to do
Okay.
that, I think it would be best for us to start from the beginning.
Yay! Story time.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Whoa, hold on. No, that's not what it says.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Oh, good morning!
His job pushing buttons demanded little of him, so there was not much of himself to give. And in this way, Stanley's job felt less and less like his every day. But if buttons need pushing one day, it means they'll need pushing the next and then the next.
I wonder if actually
So
pressing
without
these does
question
anything.
or judgment, Stanley continued to do what the screen told. One keystroke flowed into another keystroke, flowed into his ride home, flowed into dinner, flowed into waking up, flowed into going to work, and here he was again. Stanley was typing out a complete sentence that said absolutely nothing at all. If in reality no one ever actually disappeared from the office, and Stanley never got the opportunity to make a decision, to choose which path he wanted to take, would his life still have any meaning?
Oh no, this is what was happening.
Perhaps when we long for something
Don't do
deeply
it.
enough, these hopes and fantasies become so strong in our minds that we truly
I have
believe
children?
that we're
Ugh.
there, controlling that person and living that adventure.
Oh, I don't want to file a
manipulate your
tax
own thoughts and
return.
emotions might mean freedom from a self-imposed prison. But these delusions can be fatal to those who can't tell the
Good time
difference.
with the guys.
And so, Stanley asked, if that door never opened, if I'll never be able to walk away from those people and from these buttons, is this life still worth experiencing? Am I actually happy?
No.
Stanley answered this question by pushing a button. Then he pushed a button, and then he pushed a button.
Please die.
Then he pushed a button. Then he pushed a button.
Here it is. Please die. Alright, so obviously airsoft gun. Obviously. Let's do another new game. We have time. Let's do one where we just go. Let's just do. Have we already done completely good? I think we have.
Stanley decided to go to the staff lounge to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
So let's go.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the employee lounge.
I know.
And Stanley knew it perfectly well. So he turned left
what's up
at
with
the
these
first
lag
open
spikes?
door and walked back in the right direction. And like that, he was back on track.
So that pisses him off just a little bit.
As Stanley entered the lounge, he was horrified to find not a single person here. He decided he would walk up to see his boss, hoping that he would find an answer there. Coming to a staircase,
I think we walked
Stanley
downstairs
walked
one time,
upstairs to
so
his
we're gonna go
boss's
upstairs
office.
this time.
Entering his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. It was at this point that he began to feel dizzy and a little sick, and even thought he might pass out when suddenly he noticed a keypad next to the filing. Yet
there we go.
incredibly, by simply
I
pushing
remember the
random
code.
buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck.
Sheer luck.
Amazing. Stanley ventured forth. As he drew deeper into the bowels of the building,
I remember
Stanley
watching
had
someone
no
go
idea
through with
where
the
he
good
was
ending.
or what this
And
place meant.
what I think we're gonna do is
And
we're
just
gonna
as
do
he
the
began
good,
to think he
and
might
then the
not
bad. Like
discover
we're
a
gonna
thing,
save
he emerged
right here when we
into
get
a
up
long
to
room
the
to find
monitors.
rows and rows of monitors.
monitors. Screens with the number above it.
Stanley noticed, however, that these were not
427!
random numbers,
That's me!
but the number
It's
of
me!
employees who worked in the building, his co-workers. Even his own number, 427, had a place on the wall.
I feel so
But
special.
why a setup so elaborate, he asked. Was this simple surveillance, or something even more? And as if in answer to his question, the wall slid open before him,
Okay, so
revealing the ultimate truth of the situation.
we gotta get up there, and then we're gonna turn it on,
An
save, and then
enormous
we're gonna turn it
control
off
panel
after
Stanley
we load
discovered,
in. After
but
we
not
do
one
that.
that controlled simple machinery. Buttons were labeled with emotions: happy, sad. Levers and knobs controlled actions: walking, eating, doing work, or watching TV. Every input on this device monitored not the functions of a machine, but of a human being. And the reality began to sink in. Stanley, like so many other people, reduced to images on a monitor, had been under someone's control, always at the mercy of this machine.
These endings are sometimes
Could this have
depressing.
been the only reason
Like,
employee number 427 was
God,
content
it really
with
does
his
look like I
boring
don't have a
job?
shirt on though.
That a machine had
Yeah,
altered his emotions to accept it blindly? He began to feel an unbridled rage, and at the peak of his anger, something happened. A spark.
Flash.
Stanley looked up and saw the generator overhead,
It's so
still
overheady.
providing some small amount of power to the machine, keeping it alive.
Keeping it
And
alive.
knowing that this generator was all that kept the controls running, Stanley moved to the ladder in the back of the room and began to climb towards the rafters.
Hold on, I want to see if I can do something. Oh, it doesn't work. Suit zoom, it's like the most useful tool. Screw it, I don't care if it doesn't look like I have a shirt on.
The higher
Suffocating.
Stanley climbed, the closer he felt to freedom, the further from enslavement.
Okay, up here, and then generator. Now. gonna save. And then we're gonna engage generator.
Oh, Stanley. You didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yeah?
After it kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted?
No.
Control?
Not at all.
Stanley. Stanley. I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were meant to let it go, turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you have. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized that he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Oh, let's make it say, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Now, this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? Go ahead. Play with those controls all you like. The real controls are where I'm sitting. Did you really ever believe you held any power? Did you not think I knew what I was doing? When I erased your co-workers and turned off the machine, I was offering you freedom, an escape.
Oh, so
I didn't
he
have
did
to do
it.
that. I've run this story many times, and I don't always set you free. Sometimes you just sit there, day after day after day, doing your job forever,
I think we're just gonna
and
listen
then
to him.
dying alone. But when I actually give you the freedom to control your own actions, it's not enough. I let you go, and you trapped yourself just the same. You just weren't made to handle this sort of responsibility, I'm afraid. But you know what you were made for? Pushing buttons. You get it now? Now I'm enjoying this. Tell you what, I'll throw some extra time on the clock just because I'm having so much fun. There we go. You see, I want to watch you for every long second you try to puzzle this out. After all, it should make sense, right? The timer, the nuclear detonation, the mysterious facility, it's all here. This is a video game. Except for one thing there, hero. You've got no weapon, no vehicle. You don't even know where you're going. When you saw that timer, you just instinctively started trying to find an exit, didn't you?
Well,
In fact,
I've seen this ending
I bet
before,
you're
I'm not
still
gonna
looking
lie.
for a way out. I bet you're clicking on everything in this room, trying to open doors or vents or something and solve the puzzle. As though this game has a solution, as though it can be won. That timer is not a catalyst to keep things moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
Tick, tick,
This is
tick,
not a
tick,
challenge.
tick.
It's
Oh,
a tragedy.
hello.
It's the moment when the hero realizes that despite his best efforts, he is powerless to his environment. And then he lets go. He surrenders. And he dies.
And take me.
30 seconds, Stanley. 30 seconds. Until a boom. And then nothing. No ending to this story, just you dying. I suppose you could have gotten an actual ending if you played along, but that just wouldn't have been your style, would it? Instead, you'll perish knowing that the only choice you made here was to turn on that machine and to start
No
this
regrets.
timer.
Not any
You
at
won't
all.
be alone, because I'm not going anywhere. I'll be here to watch every second of your inevitable life from the time we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
That's depressing. Oh, what? No credits? Alright then, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please leave a like, and a comment, and a favorite, or whatever you want. I love you all. Peace out, my daggers. Boop!